Welcome to ESG Made Easy, the podcast where we unpack the importance of sustainability for businesses large and small. I'm your host, Steph, and for our listeners that don't already know, ESG Made Easy is a sustainability consultancy based in Northern Ireland and delivering value for businesses across Ireland and the UK. Check out our website, esgmadeeasy.co.uk, to find out more and to join our community, or maybe to learn and engage on the ways in which sustainability can be applied to benefit your business. Join us here on the podcast as we explore real stories from farmers, insights from entrepreneurs, and expert guidance on how sustainability is reshaping industries across the UK. Today, we're in conversation with Jack McShane, an ambitious renewable energy student who is about to embark on a career beyond his degree in Ulster University. Our conversation takes us across many topics, including the educational path in renewable energy, career development and industry experience, and his own hopes and goals for the future. I cannot thank Jack enough for being a part of this conversation and look forward to sharing his story with all of you today. Thank you.
I'm 22, coming 23. And I am a renewable energy student in Ulster University. I'm in my final year of studying, but I'm also still working for my placement company, Green Energy Wind Service and Maintenance, who have kindly kept me on for the rest of my time here.
And when do you hope to graduate?
I am graduating in June, all going well.
What do you enjoy about your course content, or maybe you could overview the kind of content you cover?
Well, at the start, in first year, it was like a broad range of sort of going into small sections of everything broad in energy. So when I was applying, I thought it was like just solely renewable energy because that's what I thought I was going into, but the title was actually energy. So I was learning about energy in your home, energy in your car, energy here, this, that and the other, and renewable energy as well, obviously.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all different modules like math, chemistry, physics. Then I had your building design, your CAD, and then obviously solar, wind, biomass, then thermodynamics. So then it's only when you do your first 2 years, and obviously placement sort of splits that to make you decide what route you want to go down through in energy. That's when I sort of veered down the renewable and obviously wind energy because I'm working here. So like it really takes your first 2.5 years to realise what avenue you want to go down in energy, and mine is renewable energy, but right now it's wind anyway.
Very good. What do you envision in terms of your future career path? What will that kind of look like for you?
Well, at the minute, working here I'm solely wind energy, but working here you'll know yourself, like you hear about a lot, like then there's battery storage, energy storage. There's a load of different things thrown in the mix. But right now, obviously university and completing my degree has to be my focus, but I'm also focusing on my graduate job. Do I want to stay here? Do I want to graduate and go somewhere else and find work out there?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of places to go looking for, but I do think that for now, in my head, I probably will stay in the wind industry. But in another wee section of my head, I'm like, if I do a master's degree, the master's degree that I've probably chosen will be energy storage.
Okay.
So then that would take me down the route of battery or other sort of avenues. So I'm undecided at the minute basically, but renewables.
In terms of your peers or the people in your year group, what's the conversation about the opportunities that are available maybe internationally or in your conversation at the moment?
In university at the minute, there's not really much talked about graduating. It's more focus on your dissertation other than look 6 months down the line and see what you're doing. But I know Jordanstown and Ulster University do have these programs where you can pay and then you can see all these different job roles all across the world. So say I type in Canada, for example, like you'll see, they're looking service technician in Canada, they're looking this, that and the other. So they do help you a wee bit, but right now there's not much talk as such into what avenue you want to go down when you're finished. Yeah. It's just more focus on the now, really.
Definitely. And your dissertation, What is that on?
The title of my dissertation is Evaluate the Large-Scale Energy Storage in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
At the start it was just Northern Ireland, but I asked my module director, can I do all Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think it'll just broaden it up a wee bit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the minute I'm 2 stages done, and then I'm focusing on the theses now at the minute, the last stage. So I've just really outlined what's available in Ireland and Northern Ireland, what can be implemented, what regulations we have to go by, foreign countries, what regulations they go by, can we implement their regulations over here, and what's available to our grid overall. And how are saturated. I know from working in green energy wind, talking with Owen's brother, that the grid here is saturated. So that was nothing. That was a big part of the dissertation so far, and I'll probably have to go into that more in the 3rd stage.
Energy storage. So
as a whole, yeah.
Would that mean it doesn't matter if the grid is saturated?
It does in a way.
Okay.
But I sort of haven't really dived into it fully yet. I still have a lot of research to do, and I have to talk and discuss with Mickey, you see.
Yes, okay.
It's still up in the air, and I still have a lot of research to do, but I'll definitely be able to give you an answer in 3 months' time.
Fantastic. And in terms of, just for my understanding and for our listeners, the grid between Ireland, the whole island of Ireland, and Northern Ireland, are they 2 separate grids?
Two separate grids. So Northern Ireland is owned by Sony, and the Republic of Ireland is owned by our grid, but there's only one interconnector between the two.
Oh, okay.
So to get the power from north to south, you can only put it through one transmission line. So that's what I'll also have to dive into as well.
That's fine.
I will dive into that in due course.
In due course. Perfect. That's great. And so you've had your placement here at Green Energy Wind Service and Maintenance. What kind of things have you learnt over the last, has it been 18 months you've been working here now?
18, probably even more than 18 really. When was it? Yeah, touching 18 now, yeah. Well, at the start I came in like a curled up ball. I didn't really know what I was doing because it was my first ever job outside of a family job.
Yeah.
Because I worked for my dad for 6-7 years probably. So it was my first ever real job, and obviously coming into an office environment where there's office people and then there's technicians and there's this, that and the other. It was scary at the start, but I had Owen and Mary Claire and Anya and Jack McGuire at the time, who made me really settle in well. And I was just doing sort of smaller jobs. And then come Christmas time 2 years ago, I got opportunity where Jack McGuire left the company. So I sort of got asked, do you want to fill his role and more? And I opted to that, and I felt like I took it on well. And it really, I was only doing limited stuff, and then it turned into, I have all this here other stuff to do, which I loved.
Yeah.
At the start I was curled up, and then once you do them and you do them over and over again, you're talking to different people, and your speech is getting better, and your communication is between the office and technicians. It just really broadened up. And then obviously I got days out on site with the boys then, and got more site visits, and I got climbing, and I got to see different things I always wanted to see, because coming into the company I didn't know it was an office job.
Yes.
I thought I was on site.
Yeah.
So when I finally
just for context, so on site is working physically on the wind turbines, on the gearboxes, climbing the ladders and seeing the view from the top.
Yeah.
Whereas whenever you started, it was actually an office space position.
Office space position. It probably took 6 months. I got my first site visit, and then ever since then you get maybe probably one every other week, or you get a big job every 3 weeks or something. And then sometimes it won't plants me with Saturday work, which I don't mind though. Half of the staff do. That was crazy.
Yeah, what did you have to do that day?
We had our staff do on a Friday night, and I think it was over at 1:30 or something, and then I had to be in the yard for 5:30 to go to Cushendall.
How far away is Cushendall?
2.5 hours.
And then you had to get there, climb a turbine.
Climb, do the work, climb down, pat each other on the back and go home and go to bed. No, it was good, and I know I really appreciate what Owen has done for me and all the different roles that I have picked up coming here, because you only really realise when you come into a place like this what all is involved, and communication with people being a huge one. If you can't communicate with your peers, or you can't communicate with clients, you're not going to get far.
Yeah, and it's really 3 different dialects, because the way that you interact with clients will be different from the way you interact with the technical team to the way you interact with the office. There's just, people need different levels of information. They're going to be focused on completely different areas of what you're doing, I suppose. So
Big time.
that language and vocabulary, I'm sure you had to learn.
Yeah, oh yeah, you like your vocab talking to the engineers compared to talking to your clients is completely different.
Yeah.
But that's all in a day's work, like.
Yeah. And as a student then, would you say it's valuable to have your practical experience in a workplace where you're just working like everybody else, not, it's not a studying kind of job, you're
110%. I feel for any student in second year right now, especially when COVID came around and some people didn't get the opportunity to go on placement. I know that if I was a second year right now, I would 110% go down the route of getting a placement, because I've talked to my mum and dad about this, and I feel your placement is your maturity year. Without placement, I don't know if my head would still be in my second year headspace, or would it be where my head is now. I really feel like any, I don't know what age you are, 20-year-old going into work, you need your placement year. It really wises you up, and it sort of gets your head in gear for what you're going to be doing in final year. Because I really seen there, probably November when the work started flooding in, God, it is a big step up from second year, and I don't think you'd be prepared for that if you didn't have a placement year.
No.
That's just my view on it. I know some people are different. They probably prefer not. They probably prefer to skip the year and just go straight into final year, and happy days to that. But I definitely feel that everybody should get their placement year. The two boys that came in there, Connor and Owen, like I can see from where they were at the start compared to where they are now, they're different people completely. Yeah. And the skills and everything they're getting from this job, I definitely think they're appreciative of it.
Yeah, and there's a practical application really of the maths and the chemistry and the things that you're learning, which are important, foundational to your career, I'm sure, but at the same time the practical application, and as you say, the communication, the vocabulary of parts and gearboxes and all these things, like all of the technical jargon that you just wouldn't be exposed to if you didn't have an opportunity to work in the workplace.
Big time.
Do you think, in terms of climate action for yourself, would you embrace decarbonisation in your personal life if you were in a position to do so?
Right now in my life, as a 22-year-old, still studying, I feel like I'm definitely not doing enough. I probably don't have the money to change.
I think that's a big thing. That should be a relevant part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, our pressure shouldn't be on the people who are not able to change. There are lots of entities, organisations or otherwise, that are in a position to change, and if they could do it first, make the technology more affordable, it would place people like ourselves in a better position to actually invest in that.
Definitely. Even like an electric car, for example. I can't afford to change that car. That car gets me from my house to work and my house to Jordanstown and back every other day. So I can't afford to turn that into an electric car.
In terms of your mileage as well, you probably...
In terms of mileage and stuff, but definitely down the future, when I am planning on building a house or whatever and settling down, like I definitely want to go down the route where oil and gas isn't a part of my house. I definitely want to go down the road of solar PV for my electricity. I want to go evacuated tubing for my heating, and for my hot water, and ground source heat pumps for my space heating in the house. So there's 3 things that I can bring into my own home that just puts an X through oil and gas. Probably when I'm building a house, I don't know when it might be, but oil might not even be around then. I don't know. You know by the news stories at the minute, gas is being pushed down everyone's throat as such. But at the same time, they're going, oh yeah, the price is hiked a third.
There's definitely energy issues that are social issues, because it is going to get to the point where, we have available resources that are free, and yes, the technology to harness them does have a cost, but actually once you have a wind turbine, you're only paying for your service and maintenance really. But oil and gas, like, it's continually extractive and constantly need that resource. Obviously, as it depletes or is held by certain people, we're going to have less access to it, so it makes sense.
Definitely down the line, I would love to have a wind turbine or 10 for how good they are. Like, but with PV and evacuated tubes, they're a lower cost to start up, and obviously they're a good implementation in your home, but
and
obviously
they're more appropriate for the home
for a
size.
home, for a home side. Whereas you need more money to fund the wind turbine at the start, but then obviously it reaps the rewards down the line then.
What doors do you think that your degree has opened for you in terms of your future opportunities?
Crazy amount so far.
Yeah.
I haven't even really seen the extent of the doors that might be open, but recently I made a LinkedIn. And only when I made the LinkedIn, I realised the amount of people that work in this same field of work.
Yeah.
And then you go in and you look at their previous jobs. God, you came from that to this, where you are now.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see. The, like, the people you can meet and then the groups you join. You can see like the opportunities that you can potentially have, and not just Northern Ireland, all over the world.
Yeah.
Really feel like if you get talking to the right people and that, you can secure yourself like a job that you'll love down the line. But in terms of my degree and my course as a whole, from everything that I've learnt and everything that I can put in my CV from it, I can branch into so many different things. Obviously, just energy based and like green building and building design based. I can't go into accounting or anything like that, but I could definitely.
Oh darn!
Oh no, God, I'm regretting that. But like I can go down all these different avenues. The avenue for me right now is definitely renewable energy and energy storage, like 100%.
Fascinating. And within your university, do you know, is there any sort of forums for climate action or conversations happening around that at the University of Ulster?
There could be, not of my knowledge now though.
In final year, it's probably harder to do the social aspect of things though, because you're trying to maintain all your other social relationships and you're studying and you're having a job. So
definitely feel if you're coming into Jordanstown or Ulster or Queen's as a first year, you'd be bombarded with all these different, what are the sorts like
groups.
But now as a final year, it's more just solely focused on your work, almost tunnel vision.
Do you think that renewable energy is the future?
2000%. Yes, 100. Yeah, there's no real argument to it. I don't think. Obviously, people have an argument saying, is it really renewable energy? Wind turbine blades have to be put to landfill. Towers have to be changed to recycled, and the amount of carbon that is produced when you're manufacturing these things. PV, wind turbines, battery storage facilities, battery cells, all this here comes with a carbon effect. But it's nothing on the scale of coal generator or an oil generator.
And if you were to build a refractory or you were to build a big heavy machinery, plant of machinery, you still have that footprint of building. When you create something, there is a carbon footprint. But as you say, it balances itself out eventually. And I read yesterday, I think, at Green Energy Wind in the market and stuff about remanufacturing, taking turbines and putting them back. All their quality checks are in place. That helps to mitigate the cost of virgin materials every time. So
I have seen and read up, and me and Owen discussed a thing on wind turbine towers. Like obviously when the wind time or when the tower's at the end of its use, like everything comes to the end of its use at some stage. Not all towers can be put back up, and we've seen and read forums that tower sections can be cut up and turned into glamping pods.
Oh yes.
You know the glamping pods that you stay like an overnight stay in.
Yeah.
They can be insulated and turned into pods. So there's one use alone for an old wind turbine tower. Never mind. And then I also seen a thing on LinkedIn where a wind turbine blade was used for a bike shelter, an electric charging point shelter.
Yeah.
But it's just where the blades almost just sitting over the ground, and then all the bikes are in below it, and the charging points down the line. There's going to be, right, can blades become recycled? Can we do this? Can we do that? But renewables are definitely the future, because we can't keep on going down the route of burning every fossil fuel that we possibly have. Like,
no.
Especially with one of David Attenborough's last documentaries was almost like a warning from what he's seen when he started as an 18-year-old kid compared to, I don't know what age he is now, but it's almost like
in his 60 or so years,
of filming and seeing the world, he's really like, you really need to do something here. Yeah. As a whole.
Oh yes, no, it obviously doesn't come down to
a percentage can't do it, and a percentage cannot do it. He's saying everybody has to do it as a whole, or you just won't come through it.
Renewables obviously an energy solution, but interestingly there you just brought up about the bikes. Really, renewables is like a piece or 5 pieces in the jigsaw that is climate action, because really we need to start taking a step away from fossil fuels, not just in our electricity needs and not just in our homes, but within transport, you know, moving towards active travel, all of these things that are available to us, and at the minute for some of us are not available to us. For you and I, we couldn't cycle to work because we're up here on the top of a
Yeah.
hill,
Yeah.
many miles from home.
Oh, I dread the day that I would have to cycle to work.
Yes, so it's about that kind of balance of the cost and trying to make it work for everyone.
Yeah,
So.
fuel source alone. There was a post on TransLink that they have buses now that are on hydrogen.
Yes.
How do you get hydrogen? Renewables.
Yeah.
You have to have renewables to produce hydrogen then down the line. So like if we want to go through this whole change in fuel source alone, never mind all is fuel source, like, but like if we want to go down the route of change in vehicles and some electric, some hydrogen, like you have to have, you need your renewables in everyday life. Like.
And in terms of batteries, the things that are in batteries, so the minerals that are used to create a functional battery for storage, there's a bit of controversy around that. Have you followed that much?
Not as such. I know that like lithium ion, it's toxic to the environment. Anything in any battery is probably toxic to the environment. There obviously has to be discussions on, right, okay, me and Daniel in the office that were talking yesterday about with electric cars, are the batteries in the cars going to be able to be taken out and then a new one put in, so your car actually doesn't have to fully be scrapped as such? And what do you do with these batteries then at the end of their life? Is it going to be toxic to the environment, the soil, the this, that and the other?
But also we need to ask both questions. Is there an opportunity for it to be repurposed in some way, that it can be, like it could be used on maybe another set of batteries that doesn't require as much of an output, you know, maybe for LED lighting or, you know, something else? Like, is it possible to transfer that so it's not now functional as a car battery, but can we take the parts, compartmentalize and create something new again, just like your glamping pods with your wind turbines?
It's definitely something that the manufacturers and all have to think about, and they have to look into the future here and almost try to predict, is this going to happen, and come up with a mitigation plan if it does then. There's definitely a lot of thought and future thought that has to come with, we're changing here. Back 40, 50 years ago, whatever it was, asbestos was seen as one of the best installations in the world. Put asbestos in everything.
Functional.
Unbelievable. Put it in this, put it in your buildings, put it in your schools, put it in your hospitals, your homes, everywhere. This is the best installation ever. But now, 35, 40 years on, there's major health effects of it, and people are trying to do everything in their power to get it taken out of their homes or wherever it's put in safely. And I know personally someone has been affected by working, their respiratory system has been affected by working around asbestos in an unsafe environment. Yeah. It's just like that there. It's like that was the best thing back in the day, and now it's so bad for you. So
the same might happen in terms of I know what you mean. In terms of our energy usage, we need to start exploring so that we learn these lessons, so we find out, is this the best or is it the best worst? You know, like is it like just what'll do for now, or a stepping stone, or how is it going to function as we move forward?
I think Patrick mentioned to me one day that something can be the best thing ever for 10 years and then it's the worst, and then you got to think, what's next? Like, what is next? What is after hydrogen? Like, seriously, I know hydrogen is good.
Well, green hydrogen's good. Blue hydrogen is questionable. So it's that kind of, and it depends entirely on how where to source it. And last question, does it feel like a burden knowing that for your generation within your industry that there will be such pressure for you to be innovative and come up with these solutions, or does that feel like an opportunity for you?
70-30. It's a burden in a way that we are the generation that have to worry about these things and worry about regulations changing, and is the cost of your future house going to be absolutely through the moon because you have to fit all these new regulations. Like, the regulations change every year, and is that something that we're going to have to worry about, as price hikes and stuff like this? But me working in this field of work is most certainly an opportunity to look at, with all these new jobs in renewables alone. Like, it really is an opportunity for me, and I hope down the line one opportunity leads to the next, and it just goes further and further and further. And I'd like, Owen said to me a couple of months ago, like, in his lifetime he's seen a fuel change from coal to oil to gas in his 40 years or whatever of living. So I'm 22 now. I haven't really seen coal as such, but I've most certainly seen oil and now gas.
Yeah.
What am I going to see in 30 years? So that I am looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to growing up, but I'm looking forward to seeing what way we're going to progress as civilization.
Fantastic. Well, Jack, our energy student, thank you so much for your time today and for answering our questions.
Thank you very much, Stephanie.
A fantastic conversation. If you're interested in expanding your knowledge or understanding of sustainability, make sure to check out the resources available on our website for business leaders and entrepreneurs who want to understand how sustainability affects regulation around your business, as well as how it is affected and shaping customer and client expectations. A great place to start is our book, ESG Made Easy. You'll find it on digital format on our website, or if you prefer a physical copy, you can go to Amazon and get a copy there. Thank you so much for listening today. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.